Welcome back to the GLAC Studios oil painting tutorial. I'm Gomati Sivasankaran. We are in class 16 of the Radha Krishna painting, and this marks the start of layer 4 of the large canvas painting. We have really come a long way. There's also some more miles to go before we come to the finish line. Let's do a quick recap on what we have done so far. So we started out on this large canvas or a 60 by 80 centimeter canvas, doing a wash or the first layer, then just starting with the reference, understanding references, how do we use the references, gridding, then putting the grid on the canvas, then also bringing in the superstructure, drawing the superstructure. Then we did the blocking, that is the second layer. So sort of assigning colors to different sections and saying where things are. And then the layer 3 was slightly intense, where we were also in the layer 3, we were doing some more corrections along the line. I think in every layer transitioning, we were still correcting along the line. And then we came to the stage where in layer 3 we were learning to use a couple of brushes simultaneously, meaning a same color will have two different or three different tonalities. So we were doing that, and we finished the entire canvas. We let it dry, and I hope that you have also let it dry as much as possible. I think in my case, I let it for a week. Yeah. And like I always mention, I try to use the time for another canvas. So I usually have 3 to 4 paintings or even 6 paintings at a time that are running around in different, levels of completion. In that way, I keep my creativity alive. When I feel creatively motivated to do this, then I come back to this, and I keep that habit going that you're painting every day. That is very important because at this point in time, you would have guessed. Yes, it's 15 hours. So sitting through for many hours is a part of, um, it's an integral part of what you are as an artist. I think many artists who are in different lines, in different walks of life, that are doing different, creative work, will definitely agree with this. That it's many hours of being, with the same content. Yeah. So it's an intense work. So we also along the line talked a lot about how can we take care of ourselves, and we talked about staying hydrated, and that really goes for every single class. So we did a lot of that talking as well. We went on with the materials, understanding materials. There's a lot that we have covered. So how is this layer 4 going to be different? Layer 4 is going to be an enhancement, a slight graduation, if I may say so, to layer 3. So we will do 2 to 3 tonalities, going section by section, but this time we are going to start kicking in those details. So that is something that we are going to do in the following sessions. Um, it 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 will be intense in a manner, but you can choose to slow down and focus on only one place at a time, and give it the best, and move on. For example, if you're working on a flower here, then you want to do only that flower perfectly and come out of it. So you could do that. And another point that I would say is that layer 4 will also help you understand how further do you want to go with the detail. And this is something, as an artist, you also will have to make a judgment call on how far will you go. I will try to take it up to level or layers 5 or 6 in these sessions to see. At least that's how I normally do in a painting like this. That I go up to 6 layers, and I have had a requirement where I had to go really more than 10 layers also. But normally for me, in a painting like this, I am able to come to a level of what do you call um, justifying what we have done. So maybe that's where I mark level 6 or layer 6. That's how I try to. And that's when I start taking in those gold colors. So I will also, towards the end of the course, you will see when we work on the details. Yeah, you will see that I will be using that gold color uh, for especially jewelry and all the clothing where there is this golden color range required. So and I let it sit. So that's how I tend to go about it. But this will be a defining layer for you as an artist if you have not been into layering. So you will have to gauge for yourself how many layers will you want to go with the detailing. I think you will start appreciating what I'm saying more when we practically get into it. I just want you to be mentally prepared to the detailing, because there is why are detailing important? Just ask ourselves the questions. Whatever we have done so far, it already looks complete in a way. If we have put in 3 layers on every single millimeter of the cloth, can we say that, oh yeah, it looks like there are characters, and it looks like people can understand this is fair enough, we can stop comfortably. But yeah, to us, it is incomplete. Like, to me, it is incomplete in many ways, and I would definitely say it's only 40% complete on a higher side. Yeah, because I am missing a lot of details, and a lot of detailing is a very, what do you call, generic phrase. What is a lot? How do you define that lot? Actually has a parallel connection to the word realism. How realistic do you want to go? So this is going to be something, I would say the next coming classes, you take it as um, somewhere you are going to also use that to judge yourself as an artist and see, do I really like to go to the higher level of realism, or say hyper realism and so on, or why just photorealism, so we did take references. It's all photograph for graphic pictures. If we try to aim at that level of photorealism, is that a goal? That could be a goal, because that's also a fair enough goal. So I have not set a goal personally on a photorealistic level. I think I have tried some of them with respect to photorealism, but I have never set it as a goal, always. And I will tell you why. With respect to paintings like these, especially when it comes to gods and goddesses, or some prominent personalities, the importance is given to how convincing the painting looks, as as something that people will look up to. You want a picture of somebody that is so inspiring to you, or a god or a goddess. You want to gain inspiration as a end user, as a viewer. So my viewer, my customer is happy with that kind of work. So I try to aim a, a place where it is soothing to the eye and a place where it is looking complete and makes people feel inspired and happy about. So that is my set of goal. And if it needs in some places some kind of realism, yes, I will. But I will not go and block myself as saying, oh, I want to do a photorealistic painting. That's what. So I am touching upon this realism and all these concepts because we are going to work today on a correction. Okay. All this build up was because there is something that I wanted to show you. So you already would have noticed that there is another reference material that I have never been touching upon in the last 15 sessions. So in the beginning of our discussion on references, when we were looking at two pictures, I think you might recall that I said the face itself is good of Krishna, but I would like the eyes slightly different, and maybe I wanted to look at us and this and that. I think I might have slipped in that comment, but I never brought it up again. But this is something that I always had, even in the beginning, that the face can be slightly more engaging with the audience. And I was searching for it, and I have found a picture where the angle of the face is quite similar to. So, this is what I have. Yeah, this angle of the face is quite similar to what we have, and knock knock. And the eyes are much more appealing, and we can make it even more active when we work on it. So and the face structure itself is much more appealing to me, and I wanted to work on this. So this is something that you are also going to learn at a stage like this, where we are 40% done and we want to rework. For those who say, oh, no, I do not want to work on this new reference, I'm already feeling hands full with the old references. You might want to follow the color tonalities that I'm going to apply, and just follow the guidelines of color tonalities, because I think that works. Doesn't matter whether you want to build this picture in or not. Technically, let's look at the difference. Okay, and for now I'm going to move this camera to the front. So let's look at the difference. So the challenge here, the face looks similar, but it's not the same. Why? The eyes are bigger. The face looks slightly longer. This one is, what do you call, the one that we have done so far, slightly on a circular base, but this isn't that. This is slightly, longer by a millimeter. But I think we can surely fit in this very same canvas, very same structure. That's one. Another thing is the nose isn't broad, so it's the length almost is the same. Eyes are bigger, nose is slightly sharp, and the lips are also tinier. I think we had this slightly broader lip here in this case, and this is tinier. In so many ways, this is the overall difference that we are going to work on. So what I am going to do is to adjust and make the corrections, and then start coloring. And when we color, when we use the tonalities, I think it's almost the same. That doesn't matter whether you want to follow this new change or not. When you come to the tonalities and the way we fill the colors in, I think it's all going to be very similar in that manner. So In case you do not want to do this correction, you might want to skip this correction part of our discussion. Yes. So that's what I wanted to say to start with. So I have printed this off and I have it in two different sizes just for your benefit to see how it looks and so on. I found this while I was watching another video actually, and yeah, I just took a snap of that and I thought, okay, fine, let's give it a try. So I'm going to experiment with this and I'm really excited about it. And one other thing that will be helpful, even though you might not want to use this picture, is that the detailing of the jewelry is much more clear here. Yeah. So this could be a good inspiration for us to see how do we want to use all these, things when we do the jewelry. Yeah. So this is usually the type of jewelry where you will see that there is a stone placed in some center or in some central places, and to the circle of that there could be uh, pearls, and then there is the gold base in the jewelry, and this is very typical that you will see in many of the Indian jewelry, at least in the period that we are trying to capture here. Um, so this can be used for another purpose as well. So it's a good inspiration that we can always, because there's a lot that you can pick up in terms of detailing from this picture, even if you choose not to take this picture for the face reference. So that's about getting started with the layer 4, and I think we are right now going to look at the things that we need. I'm going to take Prussian blue. Prussian blue is a darker type of blue. If you do not have it, I think most of you might have it in your palette. If you do not have it, anything like indigo or darker blue, uh, even darker than ultramarine blue will be a nice one to try. Um, have ultramarine blue ready, and if you want something close to Prussian blue you do not have, then the option will be to take ultramarine blue, try to mix slight bit of black and see how far you can go. You can get it slightly on the darker tone, but just be careful with it. Black tends to overpower very easily. We will need titanium white. I have a new titanium white, huge one right here. We'll need the Prussian blue and titanium white, and we will have a couple of tonalities to make, isn't it? So first, I'm going to do the correction part. You can skip if you do not want to do this kind of change. You want to stick to the old picture. Otherwise, when we come to the next section, I will show you how to blend and keep some colors ready. In terms of the brushes, you have seen these brushes already. I'm not going to go over that. Only new brush that you will see that I will start using now and then is that I have a micro brush, micro tip. This is it is 12 by 0, and I have the information in the description. So this I use when I work on some details, and I prefer this brush. It's a bit costlier, so I try not to use this so much because I tend to use the zero brush very frequently. You might have seen me use this all the time. And this is a local store bought brush, and it works well most of the cases, but just in case I prefer having this micro brush also around. So other than that, the all the other brushes are the same, the palette is the same, and yeah, the oil, everything is the same. Nothing else is different. Yes. So I am going to do a slight bit of correction. And for that, I am using my regular zero brush, taking in a bit of titanium white to do the correction. So this isn't a correction. It is a change in the plan. So you look at the logic of changing the plan. So when you are checking out something like this, um, you take a measurement of the face that you have and see, okay, the way I have printed it, mine is slightly smaller and I wanted it smaller. That's why I gave you this. So in case you are running out of space or something and it doesn't really blow up, it is slightly smaller than the overall space. So if I extrapolate it slightly, I'll come back to the same size without much effort. That's why it was printed in this manner. Okay, right now I'm taking that zero brush with the common zero brush with the titanium white to look at that section where I want to do the adjustment. So I see the way the head is tilted, the chin is, and it's got to be slightly sharper here, bringing him down like this. And over here, we are going to have some more space corrected on the sides. This is where the face is going to come up. So you see that white line that I have made now, yeah? With respect to the eye, the change is that it's going to go slightly up and coming down like this, slightly up, down like this. And then the eye will be, the eye color, when I do the black, I will adjust it. And I will want that spacing of the eye slightly bigger. Yeah, that's one. The eyebrows are in the right position, but just it's going to go up and down slightly. It's being corrected, let's see. And then I want this accessory also. So I will do this extra accessory here. So I'm going to just fill in that space with white. Okay. The nose, the angle of the nose slightly, coming this way. The tip of the nose is slightly sharper. Yeah. The lip, yeah, slightly more round. And that's kind of the adjustments that I'm going to make, or I have already drawn. It's safer to draw in this white. And if you have made any mistakes, for the ones that are correcting or doing any other correction for that matter, at this stage, I would say that always have a earbud or a clean piece of cloth ready. So in case you will have to wipe off something, we can always wipe off. I'm going to wipe off just for the sake of wiping off in some place to show you. Let me wipe off this neatly. I have wiped it off completely, and I can rebuild it again. That's the angle that I wanted. The same. So it's possible to do it, so don't panic. And of course, when you're making corrections, it will start looking different, and Do not panic. There's no way that we could, control the elements unless and until we need to disrupt it. We need to disrupt it a little bit to make a change. So just be aware of that. And here I use this. Just be aware of that. So here I'm going to start filling in the white ever so lightly inside. So I have filled in the white inside this. So it will help me understand where to place the iris pupil. So I have just blocked it off to make it clear for me. Yeah, it looks scary, isn't it? Just be relaxed. And I am taking this micro brush now. I need okay, there's another color tonality that I'm going to use. I think we talked about it a lot when we did our layer 3, isn't it? So to the burnt umber, I have some burnt umber here. To the burnt umber, I'm adding a bit of black. So it is not totally ivory black when I use for the eyes or the hair. This is something we have discussed a lot in our previous sessions. So that's what I'm doing, keeping it ready. And I'm going to start placing that high ball. Okay, wish me luck. Yes. Let's see. This is where the eyeball is. Checking the size of it ever so lightly. Checking the size of it ever so lightly. Looks kind of, in the right direction. I am going to draw that eye line now to bring in that finish. So you see me doing that eye line on top of the white color that I used. So it's going to get slightly lighter. I'm not worried about it. As long as I get the shape right, that is enough for me. So that's the upper eyes line. And I'm doing the upper eye line first in both the cases. Yes, it begins to look active as compared to the image that we had before. More active meaning more engaging towards towards the audience. Now for the under eye. This is more, what do you call, in a way, way more defined. It's what I wanted. And just to check, because for me, the glow in the eye also needs to show a bit for me to get a clue. So I'm adding to that. No, I'm still using the micro brush. I am adding a bit of titanium white in the in the iris to give that effect of some glow or light in the eye. So you can see that he is looking at us. Yeah, kind of, yeah. So it's slightly more engaging than what we had before. So this line works for me to proceed with. And now I'm going to do that. I did the white line as a safer space. So you get to see where the nostril is. I have placed it, and I've also started to do the lip bit. I am going to, so you can see me having a white, what do you call, a clean tissue paper around. So I'm able to wipe it off. If you look at what I have done here, it's the lip that I'm trying to adjust. So to the burnt umber, I've added a little bit of vermilion, so it looks slightly on the browny side. And the lips angle is going to go up. It was so lightly in stock here. So when we do the blue, we can fix that area. So now I'm going to use that ivory black and burnt umber again. The side of the head and the cheekbone to kind of make it look slightly longer. So I'm doing that correction here also ever so slightly. Can you see that, when the white is gone, now it looks, of course, we are going to color it with another color, which is the blue. But you see that the face is shifting gears, kind of. So it's already shifting gears just because we have done a slight correction. So the face was circular. We just made a minute, angular line, bringing it down to this angular look. Yeah, and whatever is different here, we will fix that with there is a minute space left. So we will fix that with adding more flowers or the jewelry or something like that to fill in that space. So for now, we have this angle right. Let's do this also correction here with the hair. In here, little bit with the hair. And then I want to also make it slightly darker here in this angle to show that there is this jewelry that is coming up, yeah, hiding his ear sort of. Okay. Now that we are done with that, I am going to take Prussian blue. We talked about Prussian blue, isn't it? I'm going to take Prussian blue, and now we will start blending and mixing some colors in front of, in the, yes. So Prussian blue, I'm going to have in my micro zero brush as well. We have white, we have Prussian blue. So can we now have a mixture of it ready in another brush? So the lighter tonalities are taken care of, and we want the hot or the raw Prussian blue. We have a black and with burnt umber. So 1, 2 already. Yeah, we're going to make 2 more color ranges. I'm going to mix one here, another here. So this one is going to be slightly on the higher side of the tempo of the Prussian blue. So this is still on the Prussian blue side, but it is slightly darker. Wherever we need darker tonalities, we will need this. I'm going to take brush number 2. So this was brush number 1 round. Brush number 2 round goes again with a little bit of Persian blue, but a lot of white. So it's going to be the completely lighter version of it. See, this is the lighter version of it. Okay, I think I need to just move the camera around. Yeah. Lighter version. This is the lightest version, lighter version, and the actual Prussian blue is here. We have burnt umber mixed with ivory black. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4 color ranges. Are we ready to work on a slightly complicated level? Yes. So right now, this is also a time for the ones who are not doing the corrections to have all 4 of the color ranges. So doesn't matter whether you are corrected or not. So you're going to work on this detail level right now. So to start with, I'm going to start with the darkest of the layer. So, and that's the ivory black with burnt umber in my micro brush. I'm going to go over this eye one more time. For ones who have not changed the eye also, you repeat that line wherever you have the eyes line. Do the upper line only one more time strongly, and then take this brush away. If you do not have a micro brush, have 2 zero brushes just so that you are able to switch between and feel a little comfortable about it. Or if you have one, always remember to wipe off. So I'm going to take in the zero brush, I'm taking the pure Prussian blue without any other color mixed to it, and I'm going to use this to the top of the eye ever so lightly. What is that? The eyelid, the space of that eyelid. Yeah, that's going to come. Don't worry about the eyebrow. We will work on it. Yeah. So I'm just doing that. Top of the eye with only Prussian blue. Yeah. And then let's take the one with the lightest of that color, the lighter blue. Yeah. I'm going to touch ever so lightly with that in the middle, sorry, not in the middle of the place where we painted, just where we painted, yeah? Still on the eyelid, and blend it in. So that space looks darker yet still, but it isn't totally Prussian blue. It's a it's slightly lighter than that dark version of it. Yeah. So I'm having that color right now, and I'm going to go underneath the eye, fill that in ever so lightly, a curve, a thin curve only, not more than that, a thin curve only and not more than that. Yeah. So ever so lightly. Yeah. So this is the darkest of the color tone that we have done, exactly close to the eye. And right now, I'm going to go back and pick up the burnt umber black for the eyebrow. Because we have blocked in that eyebrow, that's going to be slightly on the higher side. We haven't really drawn anything on top of it. You see that eyebrow now? We made the eyebrow, and between the eyebrow and the space where we made the eyelid, there is this space left. Yeah. So to that, I'm going to take the lightest of the blue So I have 4 brushes to play around with. It is slightly crazy. I like to hold it this way in my hands. And if you are not comfortable, you can always put it down. I am a left-handed, so I hold the brush that I'm going to be actively using here, and the other 3 goes onto the side. Yeah, like this. So I'm going to use this lightest of the color. And ever so lightly go around that section in between, yeah. The eyebrow and that eyelid. Fill that in lightly. So it looks like, there is something filled in. Now I'm going to blend that. For that, I'm going to, let me keep all these brushes away. I'm going to go back to my micro brush, but my micro brush always has different colors. I don't, even if I do not remember, I ensure to wipe it off before reaching the canvas. So now I can blend it in. So we have blended the lighter color with the dark Prussian blue color that we did. So the eyebrow and the eyelid kind of begins to show itself. Now I need a bit more of that black burnt umber to define that eye line one more time, because there was too much of blending. Sometimes, it goes away. Blending, yeah. And I am doing the eyeball one more time. Yes. And the under eye also ever so lightly. Yes. Okay. That is good enough. I'm going to now start working on the forehead and the sides. So I start with the lighter tonality of the blue that we did. This is the space that I'm going to start first working on, adding in more of the white and having it as light as the previous, color tonality that we did. Filling in that section. Be very careful when you come close to the eyebrow. Where else is the lighter tonality? There is this lighter tonality on the cheek. And the centroid of the nose. Yes, the centroid of the nose. The cheek. I'm just making a circle boldly. And the chin. That's where it's slightly lighter. The one that is from the chin, the way it is going up to the cheek, I think that's also the place I would like to work on. And I want to add a little more of the white to lighten it up even further in my case, because I feel it needs slightly more lighter. In case you already have a right tonality, you don't need to. Okay, so there you go. And now I move on to the other brush. We had a slightly darker tonality, or the medium color range, isn't it? We had that. Where does it go? Yes, it's in the sections where we haven't painted off. So let's do that. Yeah, you see, very close to the eye Just be careful and bring it down to that cheek line. Okay. The chin. Take it up to the curve of that chin going towards the ear. Let's bring him home on this side. Yeah. And where else? This is also carefully, placed space that is slightly on the nose, bringing it down to this eye line. So I think we covered it all, but it's not blended. Can we blend it now? You can choose to blend it in a brush that is most comfortable for you to work with. For me, I think I will be happy blending it with the normal zero brush, but only after wiping it off as much as possible clean, or if you want to clean it first before getting started, it's also a good idea. So I am blending this in those spaces. We have done this blending before. While I blend in, I want to take a little more of the white. So this is also on the go, and I want to have it even more shinier, or the forehead. So I'm blending it in those places, bringing it down, lightening up that space. Yes. And then blending in that space close to the, brow ridge. Okay, now I want a little more of the lighter, what do you call it, white. So I'm adding titanium white here in between, because I want the centroid of the nose to have that lightness. And we haven't drawn the, what do you call, there's a lot of stuff on his forehead, isn't it? I'll explain what it is when we come to that level. But for now, let's just focus on having that space lightened up. And then the nostrils line coming to the tip. Giving that effect that there is this nostril. Yeah. And I'm going to use the Prussian blue one more time here to slightly darken this line on this side. Yeah, fair enough. Now I'm blending again underneath the eye. Let's do the blending in both the eyes underneath. Cheek. If you want to brighten it up, you can add a bit more of white. Just be careful. You don't want him to look pale. The titanium white is a beautiful color, but it could make a human look pale if you just added that. So keep a balance of that. In my case, it doesn't look pale yet, but if it does, then I will stop using that color. So I'm taking the zero brush, titanium white only, little bit to go over the underlip first. Just give an ever so light suggestive angle to it. And to the upper lip, I want to add a very thin line to that. So it doesn't look like I have added much. I'm going back to taking the Prussian blue to do that, space in between the, right underneath the nose. There is this minute, you want to show that space. Prussian blue again. Feeling the nostril shape. He doesn't look like exactly like him, but I have got the eyes more active using this, and that's exactly what I wanted, so that he is really looking at us. And right now, I think we have achieved that correction while we have worked on this. Yes. So I'm going to use Prussian blue one more time on the corner of the space, giving it that, you don't want it to look like a clear line. You want it to blend along with the color tonalities that you have built. So blend it. So it gets sealed, the color is sealed, and in a way, it looks natural that it is the face. Blend it in those places wherever you think it is needed. I'm doing underneath that nostril. Yes. And I think I have the medium blue, the blue with the Prussian blue that we mixed with a little bit of white. That's the darkest of the mixed colors. I'm going to use that underneath the neck, on the neck, and I want to seal in that neck area as well, because the neck has to really look very similar to what we have done here. And to that, if we go back and pick up our zero brush, let's do the black burnt umber color range. Did we use that? Yes, we did use that for the drawing the chin, isn't it? So I can just go ahead and blend it in. I'm not going to start drawing there. Blending it in. Blending it in the space. And remember, in this space, we do not have the finger coming in the way you have in this picture. So we don't have that element. So we don't need to do that. So we blended in that blacky brown or burnt umber on the neck area. But remember, the neck angle in this picture, we have a hand very close to the chin. We do not have any such thing here. So remember that we need to adjust. In our case, we need to have the jewelry and also the the garland and so on. So I'm going to just put in white there, so we remember that we'll have to work on this when we do the detailing for that. So right now what you see is that the face is kind of ready, and also the eye is changed. For ones who are following this correction, the eye is changed, the eye is more active. And I will use a bit of white to show the eye is slightly active. And we will make the lip even more smilier in the next round. I think we have done enough for today to make a stop. Um, so let's just quickly go over what we have done today. We haven't done many things, but we have kick-started the process on layer 4 today. Um, and then the most important thing that we wanted to work on here was to change the face look, making it more active that we have done today. Um, and also learned a little more on layer 4 where we are really juggling with 3 to 4 brushes, color tonalities, and trying to blend it in, make it lively, make it bring out, come out as lively as possible. And we will continue this in the next class, doing something. We will start with the face again a little bit, and then we will continue that with the body as well. So you will see that the same thing is reflected in the body and the skin tonalities in every place where you can see his skin. That's what we are going to do in the next class. So looking forward to having you around and seeing you come through with this painting. Yeah. And yes, let's meet in the next class. Thank you very much for today's session. Have a nice day. Bye bye.